Take a big, slow, deep breath in through your nose, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now slowly exhale and push that breath and all the stress and tension out of your body. 4, 3, 2, 1. That calm you're feeling right now? That's what you get with HubSpot. Their all-on-one customer platform replaces the chaos of all those random tools you're using now with a single, powerful platform for all your teams. Get everyone on the same frequency and boost output. Take care of the tedious stuff with AI-powered tools, generate better leads for marketing, close more deals for sales, and earn more 5-star reviews for service. So don't hold your breath. Enjoy the zen that HubSpot brings to growing your business. Visit HubSpot.com to learn more today.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, June 12th. I'm Mark Dent here with Katherine Laidlaw, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. So the last couple of days have been a really busy time for AI and Apple stands. On Monday night, Apple announced its own take on AI called Apple Intelligence. And by Tuesday morning, the company's stock price went soaring. So we're going to chat about Apple's pivot to AI here in a bit. But before that, let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. In addition to Apple and AI stands, are there any economy stands out there? If so, this is a really big day. A new CPI report, which will indicate progress on inflation, comes out this morning. And in the afternoon, the Fed is expected to convene and make a decision about whether to alter its benchmark interest rate. That rate has stood between about 5.25 and 5.5% since last July. In the fast food world, Chick-fil-A is adding something new to the menu. And it's not spicy, and it doesn't involve chicken nuggets. It's actually childcare. One Louisiana location will host a 3-day summer camp for children ages 5 to 12 that will let campers see behind the scenes at the fast food chain and learn dining room host and customer service skills. Even though the kiddos are going to be put to work, one day costs $35 to attend. Katherine, is this above board?
I mean, this is like take your child to fast food restaurant workday. They should be paying the parents.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw this story, I thought, I just tend to think, Chick-fil-A, they're really innovative. This is more innovation. But it's like, is this just child recruitment to have them be able to work at Chick-fil-A later?
This is absolutely child recruitment.
Yeah.
Someone needs to look into this.
Yeah. We will update you guys if Alina Khan or someone else gets involved here down the line. Moving on for now, though, to General Motors, which has announced board approval for a new $6 billion stock buyback package. The move comes as a $10 billion share repurchase program launched in 2023 is completed this month. In sports, Warner Brothers Discovery, and specifically TNT, they don't really know if they're going to win the future rights to televising the NBA. They've been locked in this sort of rights battle for the last few weeks with NBC and others. But Warner Brothers Discovery has at least one big win: tennis. The company made a 10-year deal to broadcast the French Open on TNT Sports starting next year at a cost of around $65 million per year. I've got some bad news for your 4th of July holiday. Nathan's hot dog eating competition barred 16-time champion Joey Chestnut from this year's Wiener War, citing betrayal. That's because Chestnut signed an endorsement deal with Nathan's rival Impossible Food. As you might imagine, they make plant-based Franks, not your normal all beef or pork hot dogs. So here's the thing, though. True hot dog eating competition diehards know that July 4th hasn't been the same anyway, all the way since 2010. And that's when Takeru Kobayashi, sort of like the guy who put competitive eating on the map, he stopped competing then because of contractual issues. Nathan's is really putting a damper on things. I hope this sort of July festivities will be better in Canada, though, where you live, Katherine.
As the resident Canadian, I have to say, I didn't know that hot dog eating contests were tied to American independence. A shocking reveal for me.
They absolutely are, at least for now. But I think this is going to be a disappointing competition.
We have a similar holiday in Canada. It's on July 1st, so it's sort of a soft launch into the American Independence Day celebrations. But I'm going to have to bring this north of the border, see if it takes off.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Tim Hortons maybe should come to some sort of agreement with Joey Chestnut and maybe get a big win.
Right? Hazelnut flavored coffee, Joey Chestnut eating competition.
Perfect.
We can workshop that. It's fine.
Perfect. Okay, so let's move on to the main story, which, as we teased, is about Apple. On Monday, Apple hosted its annual Worldwide Developers Conference, and in recent years, it's been somewhat of a snooze. The company unveiled its Apple Vision Pro in 2023 and redesigned MacBook Air in 2022, but not this time. Apple made its official entrance into the AI race, joining the likes of Google, Microsoft, and countless other companies. Tim Cook, CEO, and Apple called its version of AI the world's first personal intelligence system. Katherine, what's the big deal here?
So there are a couple of things about this announcement that are really interesting. One is that Apple announced a partnership with OpenAI. And so OpenAI's tech is going to power what Apple is offering to its customers. And two is that Apple sort of took a different branding approach here than some of the other AI introductions that we've seen over the last year. They really sort of have positioned it as a kinder, gentler AI. One Business Insider writer called it AI for normies, which I really liked.
Yeah, and the AI for normies, I think, is a really good way to describe it. I think that the same reporter, Katie Natopoulos, said, quote, that Apple is here to smooth over your fears about big bad AI, give you a cup of warm milk, tuck you into your cozy bed, etc. So what is it? What are these features like that seem a little bit more for normies, that don't seem like they're going to steal my job, I guess?
Yeah, so they're introducing a slew of features that seem a little bit like you'll be you, still human, but better. And, I'm not going to lie, when I first heard about this, I was thinking like, I could maybe get on board with that. So for example, on your phone, Apple Intelligence, don't get it twisted with artificial intelligence, will be able to organize notifications by priority to make sure you don't miss something important. New writing tools will be able to rewrite, proofread, and summarize text for you in apps like Mail or Notes. One example that they gave was that you learn a meeting was rescheduled and you're wondering if it'll prevent you from getting to your daughter's play on time. And Apple Intelligence will be able to understand who your daughter is, the play details that she sent days before, the time and location for the meeting, and what the predicted traffic between the office and the theater will be.
Oh.
Siri is going to get better, more contextually relevant, more personal. You can ask when your mom's flight is landing or what podcast your friend recommended to you. And if it's saved somewhere on the phone, it'll know the answer.
Yeah, and all these things do sound like something that, the average person would get some usefulness out of. I guess I wonder, when we see ChatGPT, for one, which is run by OpenAI, coming up with error after error whenever you ask it questions, it's like, do you think it's going to get the correct time when your mom comes to the airport? Is it going to actually get the correct sort of distance and timing to get to your daughter's play if some meeting gets moved? I think that this AI, if it doesn't execute correctly, there could be a lot of maybe some personal issues that people are going to encounter, some family disputes that arise out of what this promises.
It'll send us into chaos. We'll end up in different towns, divorces, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is like the first kind of warning that all of the AI pessimists are talking about. It starts with, your mom being really mad at you, and then with AI taking over the world, maybe a couple weeks later.
Yeah, it's like gentle AI lulling us into submission before unleashing chaos.
But, all that said, this does seem as though it's been a pretty impressive rollout for Apple. There's no denying that. I think that they have really kind of contextualized how AI can be used as an assistant, because that's what it seems like, because it's like sort of your own personal secretary with some of what these features are. And it seems like the stock market agrees with that and has been pretty excited, right?
Yeah, definitely. The stock jumped 7% after the announcement to a record high. And part of the reason for that, like you mentioned at the beginning, was that there's been some iPhone and Apple fatigue. People have been waiting longer to upgrade because there's not a ton of differences between the phones. The phones are increasingly expensive. And some experts are saying that the AI could be the new hook to get people to buy phones. It'll only be offered in iPhone 15 Pros or later, and only in its next software updates. And so there's going to be some motivation for consumers to buy if they're interested in these features. That said, it's not all sunny news on the horizon. Some analysts are saying that because some of the features are already offered on Android, it might not be enough to get non-existing customers to make the switch.
Right, yeah. It definitely does seem like that this is kind of like Apple's new sort of strategy to get back to like the days of 2011 and 2012, or when every time there'd be a new iPhone, you'd be like, whoa, I gotta have that. And there was truly something new about it. And if this AI and Siri, et cetera, if those can like make true advancements within every few months or even every year or two, it seems like this could really be a huge ticket for them to keep growing.
Yeah, I mean, if these options or this phone can help me keep my life together in a way that makes everyone around me's life easier, I will pay money for that.
Yeah.
I would buy an assistant.
Totally. And one more thing I wanted to touch on is, Tim Cook, while he was giving this keynote, he really stressed on privacy throughout, which has been one of the, frankly, just the most controversial kind of topics, not just of AI, but from big tech and social media in general. And he said, quote, most importantly, it has to understand you and be grounded in your personal context, like your routine, your relationships, your communications, and more. And of course, it has to be built with privacy from the ground up. I just think that the other story to how we're going to see this play out is not just what it's going to mean for Apple's growth, but how legitimate is Apple being when it does come to privacy? Because if this version of AI does work well, I mean, he's correct that it has to kind of like understand us personally and know to use this one more time when our mom's going to be at the airport and we need to pick her up. And I think if there's going to be this balance that's going to have to be struck between the privacy and the fact that, Apple is flat out saying, we want this AI to get to know you very personally.
Yeah, there's a really strong inherent tension in that. And I'm curious to see how they are able to strike that balance in a way that makes most people comfortable. They've taken heat for not doing that in the past with privacy concerns and advertising. And so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess like one win for them so far is at least they didn't try to replicate Scarlett Johansson's voice for Siri. So that's a W for Apple for now. And that's going to do it for us today. So thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. So if you're not subscribed, please go get signed up at thehustle.co/email, and we'll see you tomorrow.